open that
The
up.
movie Elemental is a Disney movie that came out on June 16th in 2023. Usually Disney movies have had a huge impact in shaping the culture and especially the morals of young kids. But in this movie, we want to talk about how the Elemental movie in particular is no different. This movie follows the relationship between the elements that are in this community, which are water, fire, air, and earth. But this story in particular centers the water elemental Wade and the fire elemental Ember. Even though they are vastly different from each other, when they lead and live in a community where the discrimination between the elements is strong, they still manage to stay together. Wade and Ember are obviously very different from each other, besides just being from opposite elements. They have different life guides. For example, Ember has the burden of taking on her family's restaurants, where she can see that she's clearly not happy being in the restaurant, but despite this, she tries her best to work at the restaurant to not disappoint her father. From the other side, Wade is trying to find his way through life as he struggles with conviction and finding his own place in the world despite his family not accepting of him. We already talked a little bit of how differently their family treats them, but now we also have to talk a little bit more about how the communities treat them differently. During the course of the movie, we can see how Ember's father doesn't like that Ember gets around other elements because he thinks they're going to treat her terribly, and that is true. There are visible moments where we can see that they are discriminating as Ember for being a fire elemental, but on the other side, most of the elements like Wade and want to be around him because it's easier to be around water, and they don't treat him badly as they do Ember. The only community that does that is the fire elements. The fire elements are the only elements that don't like Wade because they're scared of him turning them off or killing them because he's water. But that doesn't stop Ember and Wade from being together. They know that being together can be something dangerous for each other, but they don't care. They still want to be together. During the movie, we're able to see how they wanted to separate from each other, but their relationship was more stronger then. So that's why in the end, they accept to be together even if they do have differences. For people that watch the movie, it can resonate with their own relationships and cultural differences.
Experiences on a new society. He pulled from his life and relationship with his parents to create the latest chapter in the Pixar movie timeline. The emotional nature of the stories he used as inspiration translate well on screen as he created a movie that resonated with audiences across the world. Peterson made the movie based on his experiences. He put the elements as the people from different cultures that he saw in New York when he immigrated with his family. He also made the restaurant based on his family's stores around New York. Another experience that he put it was his relationship between his family. That Peter made the opposite elements, Wade and Ember, as a part of what he needed to pass on his real life experience with his family and wife. Peter is Korean, and in Korea is known for being so respectful to their parents and for following the culture. That's why in the movie he made up the story of Ember's father wanting her to keep the restaurant and how Ember didn't know how to say no. And in the culture part, we already mentioned how it was hard for Ember and Wade being together for being different elements. In the Peter's experience, he had issues with his parents for him dating a white woman because his parents wanted him to marry a Korean woman to follow the culture. That is why he wanted to add something like this in the movie, creating Wade and Ember being on opposite elements. For a topic like this to be in a Disney movie means that Disney is accepting diverse experience. We already seen more different examples of this type of diverse experience. And one example that we can mention is Utopia, another Disney movie that also talks about discrimination and conflicts between different races or culture. Hopefully with the success of this movie, Disney will continue to draw a diverse experience to create stories that can reach everyone.